I almost didn't answer the phone that night. If I hadn't, my life would have stayed exactly the same, safe, predictable, and painfully lonely. Instead, one single moment shattered the future I thought I wanted, and led me to the love I never believed I deserved. This isn't a perfect love story. It's a real one, and it starts with the mistake that changed everything. By the time I turned 32, I had mastered the art of pretending I was happy. I smiled at work. I laughed at dinner with friends. I posted photos that made my life look full. But every night, when the apartment went quiet, the truth crept in. I was alone, not the dramatic kind of alone, the kind that settles slowly into your bones. The kind where you stop expecting messages, where your phone stays face down on the table because checking it hurts more than ignoring it. I lived in Chicago, in a small apartment with large windows that overlooked a street always buzzing with people going somewhere. Everyone seemed to be moving forward. Except me. My last relationship had ended 2 years earlier. Not with a fight, not with betrayal, just exhaustion. Two people who tried too hard to make something work that never truly did. After that, I promised myself I was done. No dating apps, no situationships, no late-night conversations that went nowhere. I poured myself into work instead. I worked in marketing for a mid-sized tech company, long hours, tight deadlines, constant pressure. I told myself I loved the grind. That success would fill the space where love used to live. Sometimes it almost worked, until nights like that one. It was raining. The kind of cold, steady rain that makes the city feel heavier. I was still at the office, staring at my screen, pretending to be productive while my mind replayed the same question over and over.
Продам квартиру. Панорамний вид на місто і Дніпро, який заспокоює після довгого дня. Ця квартира не просто 48 квадратів. Це місце, де хочеться жити. 6-й поверх у житловому комплексі, сімейний. Готовий ремонт, заїжджай і живи. Автономне опалення та підігрів підлоги, комфорт у будь-яку пору року. Закрита територія з відеоспостереженням. Дитячий майданчик під вікнами. Поруч садки, школи, парки, ТРЦ, Дафі та Макдональдс – усе для спокійного сімейного життя. Це той самий дім, у який хочеться повертатися. Можливо, саме він чекає на вас.
I used to think I'd have it all figured out by now, he said quietly. Me too, I admitted. Turns out we were lied to. He laughed. A real laugh. The kind you can hear even through a phone. When the call finally ended, I sat there staring at the wall, my heart beating faster than it had in months. I didn't even know his last name. And yet, for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel alone. He texted me 5 minutes later. This is the guy who dialed the wrong number. I'm glad I did. I stared at the message longer than I should have. Then I typed back, me too. What started as occasional texts turned into nightly calls. We talked while brushing our teeth, while lying in bed, while walking home under streetlights. There was no pressure, no pretending. I told him things I hadn't said out loud before. About how I felt invisible sometimes. About how I was scared that love had already passed me by. He listened. I don't think love works on a schedule, he said once. I think it shows up when you're finally honest with yourself. His words stayed with me. Weeks passed. I started looking forward to nights again. And that scared me. Because hope is dangerous when you've learned how to survive without it. One night, after a long silence, he said, "Can I ask you something serious?" Okay, are we just pretending this isn't becoming something? My heart stopped, because I'd been asking myself the same thing. I don't know, I whispered. But I know I don't want it to end. Neither did he. That's when the distance became real. Seattle. Chicago. 2 lives built separately. Love had found us, and now it was asking if we were brave enough to choose it. I saw him before he saw me. He was standing near the coffee shop window, hands in his jacket pockets, scanning every face that passed by. Taller than I imagined, broader shoulders, nervous energy written into his posture. My heart slammed against my ribs. This was it. 3 months of late-night conversations. 3 months of knowing someone's soul before knowing the sound of their footsteps. I could still walk away. Instead, I took a breath and said his name. Daniel? He turned and smiled. Not the polite kind, not the practiced kind, the kind that reaches your eyes before your mouth has time to stop it. Hi, he said softly, like he was afraid to break something fragile. Hi. For a moment, we just stood there. Then he opened his arms, hesitant, questioning. I stepped into them, and suddenly, the distance that had lived between Seattle and Chicago disappeared. That weekend felt unreal. We walked for hours. We talked like time didn't exist. He told me about his marriage, how it slowly turned into silence. How 2 people can live in the same house and feel like strangers. I don't ever want that again, he said. Me neither. At night, lying next to him, listening to his breathing, I felt something terrifying. Peace. The kind that makes you want to stay forever. And that's when fear arrived. Because real love doesn't scare you when it starts. It scares you when you realize you could lose it. When he left, the apartment felt empty again. Except this time, it hurt more. Calls became shorter. Schedules clashed. Reality crept back in. One night, he said the words I was afraid of. I don't know how to make this work. Neither did I. Silence replaced what once felt easy. And then, nothing. Days passed. Then weeks. The wrong number had finally gone quiet. I told myself I'd be fine. I focused on work. I avoided memories. But love doesn't disappear just because you stop talking about it. One night, scrolling through my phone, I found his first message. I'm glad I dialed the wrong number. So was I, even if it broke me. Something shifted after that. Instead of closing my heart, I opened my life. I traveled. I laughed again. Not because I forgot him, but because I remembered who I was before fear. And that's when the phone rang. I should have fought harder, he said. So should I. Love doesn't need perfection. It needs courage. This time, we chose it. Not because it was easy, but because it was real. Sometimes I think about that night. About how close I was to ignoring the call. Life doesn't always change with grand gestures. Sometimes, it changes with a simple hello. And this time, I answered. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like this video. It truly helps the channel grow. Subscribe to the channel if you love deep, emotional love stories told with warmth and honesty. Your support means more than you know, and it allows more stories like this one to find the people who need them. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next story.